This is Monocle on Design Extra. It's a short show to accompany our weekly programme where we discuss everything from architecture and craft to furniture and fashion. I'm Ailey Evans. Whether you're at the doctor's office, driving on the road or navigating a new city, symbols are everywhere, aiding you by instructing, protecting, perhaps even entertaining you with the deft use of simple shapes and sometimes a dash of colour. These signs are the subject of an exhibition at the Hewitt Smithsonian Design Museum in New York City. It's over to their associate curator, Emily Orr, who shares why these communication tools are so important and why one particular book published 50 years ago is still relevant today.
There are many reasons that we use symbols. Symbols can often convey messages much more quickly or more precisely than written or spoken language. A great example of this is maybe a dashboard on a vehicle, where you have symbols that are made up of a compact arrangement of line, color, and form that can send critical messages to the user of that vehicle to keep them safe. And these symbols can be readable in an instant. Oil temperature, windshield wipers even. Symbols are able to communicate so much while only taking up a small footprint on a button, the surface of a lever, or the surface of a screen. There are many ways that we can look at success in symbol design. Graphically speaking, color and form carry meaning and can be combined in compelling ways. A red stop sign. Red often indicates a warning. We can look at that octagonal shape and its sharp edges that are making us pause. Lines on a roadway. A double line meaning do not cross, or a dotted line meaning that vehicles can pass freely. These symbols can be understood globally and are precise and clear for the user. The exhibition, Give Me a Sign, The Language of Symbols, marks the 50th anniversary of a groundbreaking publication called the Symbol Sourcebook, an authoritative guide to international graphic symbols. The Symbol Sourcebook was the culmination of years of research into the significance of symbols in almost every discipline. It includes over 3,000 symbols, traffic signs, Olympic sports symbols, musical notations, and astrological signs. The book project was overseen by Henry Dreyfuss and his office. This team understood really well how symbols functioned for people. For decades, they had been placing symbols in many contexts where we now take them for granted. Airplanes, cameras, telephones, tractors. And through this successful implementation of symbols, Dreyfuss emphasized how effectively symbols can be used as universal instructions. He wanted to compile a manual as a guide, but also to be a tool for the creation of new symbols. This project all came together during the jet age in the United States, when people and goods and ideas were flowing more freely than ever before, internationally and across the country. He saw symbols as a great key to worldwide communication. The Symbol Sourcebook was an intensely collaborative project. The Dreyfuss team, as well as the publisher, McGraw-Hill, sent out a questionnaire called Our Search for Symbols that solicited thousands of designs from people all over the world. Doctors, artists, traffic control professionals, farmers, mathematicians, you name it. This questionnaire solicited symbol suggestions, but also posed symbol challenges. One of my favorites is designing a symbol for push and pull. Such a simple motion that we all need and require on a daily basis, but don't necessarily still have a uniform design for. Our archive contains symbol designs that were submitted for push and pull from users of all ages and backgrounds. All kinds of suggestions, arrows, hands, curious shapes. We even have a few designs by an 11-year-old child who submitted pushing a wheelbarrow and pulling a sleigh. There are so many symbol ideas that need to be taken into consideration, and how do you choose the best example to make it into the symbol source book? Henry Dreyfuss and his team never considered that the symbol source book would be the final say on symbols. They saw the project as living on and needing to be added to over time. Although it was published over 50 years ago, the symbol source book is still used by designers today. Many of the symbols that we find in it are familiar and still in our world, but others have been adapted and changed for better. A great example of this is actually the accessible icon that was first designed in 1968 by a Danish design student. It depicts a static image of a person in a wheelchair waiting to be pushed forward. And this is the symbol that appeared in the symbol source book, and by the time of its publication had started to be adapted both nationally and internationally, and we still see this in our world today. The Accessible Icon project that took place outside of Boston, Massachusetts between 2009 and 2011 was a grassroots effort to redesign that symbol, to make a more empowering image. Today, we see a figure seated on a wheelchair in motion, ready to reach their destination, propelling themselves forward. This symbol is now available for free download and can be used and applied by anyone, anywhere, and has actually been collected in Cooper Hewitt's collection in collaboration with the designers. Symbols can communicate in so many different formats, and that's one of the things that makes them so powerful. Today, of course, one of those formats is on a screen, on our phones, on our computers, on our tablets. Emoji are now a symbol category that allow us to communicate in new ways. They allow us to share our emotions, have our identities heard and represented, have conversations about what we care about and what we stand for. They give us a tone of voice in a way that other symbols may not. Emoji have transformed our online communication by instantly being able to convey these details and also expand to represent a diversity of perspectives, opinions, and identities. Symbol design also needs to change to accommodate the needs of new users, new communities, and new contexts. So we're always creating new symbols for that reason.
Thank you, Emily Orr. Give Me a Sign, The Language of Symbols is on at the Cooper Hewitt Smithsonian Design Museum in New York until the 11th of August 2024. That's all for this week. If you're eager for more design stories, then listen to our main programme, Monocle on Design, airing on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. London time. Or if you prefer print, you can pick up a copy of Monocle magazine. It's on all good newsstands now. Today's episode was produced and edited by me, Maylie Evans. Thank you very much for listening.